Let's write a program with a graphical user interface that also includes a label. And in this label, we're going to store a number, albeit as a string, and we're going to update that label again and again and again so that we ultimately count down from 50 to 0. GLabel, calling it label, gets the return value of new GLabel. Now, I'm not going to give this label a value yet, so I'll put in quote, unquote. Next, let's call setFont, passing in the label, and let's pass in specifically a font called sans serif 36 point, a font that happens to exist inside the CS50 appliance. Then finally, let's add the label to the window as follows. Now let's proceed to induce a loop that's going to count from 50 down to 0, and within that loop, let's iteratively update the label and display it on the screen. For int I gets 50, I is greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. Now, labels, it turns out, have to be strings, but I'm actually counting using integers. So somehow I'm going to have to convert the integer, I, to a string representation thereof. To do so, let's declare char s bracket 3 so that we have enough storage space for a 2-digit number followed by a null terminator. Then let's call sprintf, passing in s, passing in quote unquote %i, indicating that we indeed want to format an integer, finally passing in I itself. In other words, sprintf, or string printf, just like printf expects a format string followed by some variables to substitute into that format string, but it also accepts as its first argument the location in which you would like to store the string that you've represented with that format string. So next, let's go ahead and call setLabel, passing in label, passing in s. And now finally, just because this label's width is going to change over time as we count down from 50 to 49 to ... to 9 to 8, which aren't as wide as a 2-digit number is, let's proceed to figure out dynamically what the width of this label should be and then ensure that it's always centered on the screen. I'm first going to declare a double, calling it x, and I'm then going to store inside of x the result of getWidth, passing in the width of the whole window, minus getWidth, passing in the label, then dividing the whole thing by 2. Similarly, I'm going to declare y to be equal to getHeight of the whole window minus getHeight of just the label, and divide that by 2 as well. Finally, I'm going to call setLocation, passing in the label, passing in x, passing in y, thereby positioning the label at x, y. Finally, so that this countdown doesn't happen too rapidly, let's pause for, say, 100 milliseconds between each update of the label. To do so, we can call the pause function that's defined in the Stanford Portable library quite simply as follows. Now let's save, compile, and run this program. Make label /label. There's my user interface, counting down from 50, counting down, and down, and down, and done.